So what have you made about what's been going on with the Test match, first of all, JP?
Well, it's been a very fast-moving Test match, despite only getting 36 overs in yesterday. Pity that the drainage isn't quite what it should be up at Old Trafford, that little section of the ground. But you've got to give all credit to England. It was a good toss to lose, maybe, but for my word, they made full advantage of it. Bowling India out for 150. They couldn't have asked for much more than that. They battered pretty well. It looks like Butler and Root have really got on with it this morning. And to me, there is only one team that can go on and win this game now. A lead of 200 will probably be enough to win it. India really do struggle when they're put under pressure with the bat. They haven't batted well since Lords. If you sort of get through Rahane and Dhoni, then pretty much game over. So no, England can be very pleased with their 2.5 days' work so far. They just need to bowl as well as they did in the first innings. I thought Anderson was outstanding early on. Stuart Broad did a super job and was well backed up by Chris Jordan and Chris Wokes. So all in all, it's been a really good couple of weeks for England, and well played to them. We've got a lot of Test cricket going on, of course. Sri Lanka's playing Pakistan and Zimbabwe, South Africa as well. So plenty to keep me busy at the moment.
There was, and I was reading a tweet. You'll I'm sure correct me, but there was a bowler I think in the Test match that got a wicket on his first ball in Test cricket.
Yeah, you caught me out. Pitt, was that right?
That's right. That's correct. Yeah, I couldn't remember. I was trying to remember the name.
Must have been him because he's the only South African debutant, and they're bowling. So yes, he's come in and done a job in obviously South Africa using the Zimbabwe series to not so much rest players in the Test arena, but certainly they'd give them a chance in there rather than when they'd maybe take on the West Indies later in the year. And they're going to rest a lot of their fast bowlers for the 3 ODIs. But that's all good for South Africa to see that players are coming in and making an immediate impact, because again, in team sports you need that edge to think, oh, my place isn't really secure here, so I've got to keep on working and keep on delivering. So all good for South Africa, but credit to Zimbabwe. I think 64 for 2 at lunch, so that's a solid start. And let's hope they can put in a good showing and try and go toe to toe with the world's leading side. So interesting times.
Definitely, and I think someone wrote on Twitter that probably hope that Pankaj Singh is not paying attention to the fact that that guy got a wicket on his first ball, in international cricket.
He's been very unlucky, Pankaj Singh. He bowled much better than his figures suggested down at the Ageas Bowl. He bowled okay at Old Trafford, but he's just got a wicket.
Oh yes, first.
So sorry, you just mentioned you called that up. So I'm a little bit behind. So he's finally got his first wicket. So well done to him. Maybe that'll be the first of many.
Okay, there you go. Cool. But I was just about to say, actually, I think he had bowled fairly well, and almost it was starting to get to him. It had been so long, and he's just bowled so well with no reward, and you can almost start to chase it a little bit, isn't it? And you can almost want it too much, and it can become a little difficult. So maybe that'll settle him down a little bit now, and he'll start to relax a little bit.
Yes, I think it was Nasser Hussain who made a really good point. Is that some days you'll bowl not particularly well, but you'll get 5 wickets, and other days you bowl, you move the ball all over the place, you don't get any. But the trick is to make sure you're in the team at the time when you're not bowling well enough, and you end up taking the wicket. It's a shame if obviously you don't get to that, but you're out of the team before that day happens. So him taking a wicket, you never know, he might get another go at the Oval, and then bowl not so well and get a load of wickets. India will certainly be hoping so. Yeah,
completely. And so JP, I think the Caribbean Premier League's been kind of hotting up a little bit. What have you made of what's been going on there?
It's been totally exciting. It's been, from a competitive point of view, it's been not quite as maybe as tight as it was last year, because Antigua and St. Lucia, they've had one win between them. So from a long way out, it was very clear that the 4 teams competing for the 3 sort of playoff spots were the others. But we've seen some absolutely outstanding performances, some last ball sixes to win games. We saw Sunil Narayan bowl a wicket maiden in a super over, which is just unbelievable almost. It's been really, really entertaining. You've got the top players in the world out there. We talked about Peterson. He's going to play tonight and I think Sunday or Monday. Obviously, guys, Chris Gale are out there. Martin Guptill, players like that who really played a superb innings yesterday for Guyana. It's been a fantastic tournament, and it really does seem to be giving the West Indian cricket a boost, which I think they badly need.
No, definitely. Just reading on the forums and just seeing the sort of what people are saying. I know in Guyana, where obviously I've got some family, there's been a lot of talk about the tournament. It seems to be really unifying and bringing a lot of people together, and which a lot of the players seem to be saying as well, doesn't it? Which is a really good thing.
Yeah, I think what they've done really well this year is, well, they've done lots of things, but two things I'd like to pick up on is, first of all, it's gone all around the Caribbean, so they've had matches in Guyana, Trinidad, Jamaica, in Kitts now where they are at the moment. I think that's a really good thing because it means the fans of all the different teams and some teams that aren't maybe represented are able to come out and support, and also the fact that they've kind of tweaked the start times a bit, so there has been, at any point in time of a weekend or so, there's been a game on, or they've tried to make it so that they've tried to make it accessible to everybody, and I think that's really important. So good luck to them, and it's captured my imagination, and I think it's captured the imagination of a lot of other people as well.
I'm sure it has. I don't think it's captured the imagination of the immigration officers in America. I don't know if you saw Lendl Simmons' bat on that was just for our viewers who are not aware of what we're talking about. Jimmy Neesham, who plays for the Game Warriors, tweeted a picture of a cricket bat with a few holes in it, and it turned out it was Lendl Simmons' bat, and I guess the border controller drilled some holes in it looking for drugs. But quite how you get some into a cricket bat, I'm not too sure, but there we go.
Well, better safe than sorry, I suppose, would be the only defence of the immigration authorities, but that's a little extreme.
True, yeah, absolutely. But who knows, maybe one day they'll... Well, they have had some games, haven't they, in Fort Lauderdale? I think they've had a couple of one-day internationals, isn't it? So it is growing, it is growing over there, isn't it? There's been a bit of interest.
Yeah, there's a lot of great work being done behind the scenes by the sort of United States Youth Cricket Association and the American Cricket Federation they're doing a lot of work to really try and get cricket going at a grassroots level in America, because at the top level it's not being run very properly, and they're trying to actually launch a bid to take over complete ownership of the game, and that could well, if that happens, it's not going to be an immediate thing, that could well be, we could be talking about, America playing decent cricket in 5 to 10 years. So some really interesting stuff going on in there, and they have hosted games before. It'd be great to see them host games again.
No, completely. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a world sport, isn't it? So the more global we can get it, I think it's only a good thing for the game. So yeah, it would be good to see that.
I just seen a tweet that Joss Butler's Test average is 125.
Well, it's actually, I think this innings to me. Go ahead, JP.
No, someone's tweeted that he's now sort of leading Test average of all time, pretty much 125. That's 2 innings or whatever. So.
Nice time to retire, isn't it? Just retire and then you can't really do it.
Absolutely.
But actually, in a way, I'd say this innings to me is more impressive actually than what he did in the last game at the Rose Bowl, because it was a phenomenal innings at 85, but that was almost tailor-made for him, wasn't it? He came in with a good score, good platform. He could come out and play sort of one day sort of type innings. Here he came in with England under a little bit of pressure, just trying to get a decent lead. They'd lost a few wickets, and he's really knuckled down and still played positively. So I think that speaks very highly of him.
Yeah, it does. I mean, a lot of people were saying, well, great, he's come in at 85 when England were already, whatever score they were, piled on the runs, but the real test would come when he has to come in with England under a bit of pressure, the ball moving about. Well, he's answered that in this test, so well played to him, especially after he didn't have such a great time behind the stump, so it'll be a really good confidence boost for him, and shows that he's clearly in control of his game, and able to put that behind him and go out and bat properly, in inverted commas, if you like, and really, grind out some runs, and obviously now he's able to get in and sort of making hay while the sun shines, so to speak.
Exactly, and I think that goes back to the mental side of the game, doesn't it? Obviously, Lisa was talking about it earlier, like how she put that French Open final defeat behind her. A lot of people might have kind of got really caught up in that, but then she went on to win Wimbledon. So it just shows, doesn't it? I think if you're strong mentally, it can really overcome a lot of things in international sport, I suppose.
Absolutely.
And talking of another mentally strong athlete, I know a couple of weeks ago we were speaking about Rory McIlroy in the golf and how he came back from some disappointments, won a couple of majors. He's looking in good shape now, isn't he, JP?
He is. If you look at the USPGA leaderboard, I got it in front of me. He's shot clear, but he shot, was it 67 yesterday?
Yep.
Very impressive again. I saw a stat. I think it must have been his last 3 or 4 tournaments. He's barely shot anything over 70 or 72. It's an unbelievable run of form he's on, and that is world-beating form. If he carries that through over the next couple of days, he'll win another major. I mean, he's put it down to absolutely just immersing himself completely in golf,
Yeah.
Obviously, opposite to what these elders were saying there at the moment, she's not, but obviously she's injured, and that's where he's putting his form down to. So he's obviously, and this again comes back to sort of the mental side, he's cut out distractions, anything else, he's just focusing on his golf, and he really is reaping the rewards. So all credit to him. Could be an interesting couple of days, because if he doesn't turn it on early in this sort of third round and somebody goes on a bit of a charge, Westwood's nicely placed, there are a few others as well, Phil Mickelson's in the leading group as well, we could have quite a battle, so it could be a really interesting couple of days at Valhalla.
Definitely, there's nothing quite like, isn't it, especially when it's quite close, the final day of a major, that final Sunday, it can be quite exciting at times, isn't it, when there's a few guys that are in the hunt.
Yeah, absolutely. It's almost gladiatorial at times, because you can have the leading two, if they're clear, they're on their own in their own group, and it's really fascinating. I remember, I think it must have been 2008 when a Korean golfer whose name escapes me right now, and I'm not going to embarrass myself by trying to say it, he held off Tiger Woods to win on the final round. They were in the final pair, and he just held him off, and won. It was absolutely remarkable.
No, I mean, completely. There is that real sort of tension, and as you say, it's such a unique sport too, because tennis, you can kind of, you hit a winner or the other guy hits an error, and that's it. It's beyond all doubt, you've won. Whereas golf, you can kind of, you could do well, but then the other guy can start making a few bogeys, and all of a sudden you're back in the game. It's kind of, there's so many sort of different intangibles, aren't there, to kind of consider in golf.
Yeah, I mean, things can turn around quite quickly, but we saw the Open a little bit earlier in the last month, wasn't it? That although McIlroy won it in the end, he had a poor start to his final round, and Sergio Garcia had a good round. So at one point, there was only sort of 3 or 4 shots between them. I thought, well, this could develop into something, and he didn't. But that's how quickly things can change. And I've just drawn up the player who I was referring to. It was 2009, Yang Yong-eun.
There you go.
Korean, whose name I couldn't remember earlier.
I don't blame you for not trying as well without seeing that. That's a good one there. But yeah, so it's been overall quite an interesting week in world sport. I mean, just the other thing to add is I saw LeBron James. I think we spoke about him in the basketball a few weeks back, and how he's going back to Cleveland. He's pretty much he's been welcomed now by his fans, as you'd expect, and he's pretty much hinted that he doesn't see himself playing anywhere else for the duration of his career. What I did think was really nice, they've got quite a young team this year, Cleveland, so it's not like a star-studded Miami Heat team that he had been playing with for the last 4 years, but that seems to be the big goal now. It's not he could have stayed at Miami and maybe won quite a few more championships. I think he knows that's realistically not going to be the case, but if he can just win one with Cleveland, he said that'll be the biggest achievement of his career. So it's kind of nice to see someone almost a legend of the sport, kind of going back to a smaller team where he's from and trying his best to bring a title to that part of the world. I thought it was quite nice.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think we have touched on it before, haven't we, about players going back to their first club as they come towards the end of their career to not just obviously try and win, but it's about putting something back into the club and passing on their knowledge, their experience, and obviously giving the younger players or the fans, I suppose, someone to look up to and learn off. So it's an interesting development.
Definitely. Well, JP, once again, thanks for your time. It's been quite an enjoyable one today, hasn't it? Like catching up with you and obviously speaking to Liesl.